Hey, what's up, guys? Duff Black here. I'm back doing another self-cast. First time in quite a while, actually. As anyone who's been following my channel can tell, the last upload for a self-cast has been about a year, just about. There are reasons why I haven't posted in so long. A little bit of it's been laziness, a little bit of it's been just not wanting to come back, and a lot of it's been just life has had me just piled on with stuff, and I haven't really been able to chill back and do everything that I want to do, because most of my creative energy has been flowing into my second channel, my CS channel. But today I wanted to start off with a few topics, the first of which is furries. This is a little bit shorter point that I wanted to cover real quick, but it's just about me becoming a furry and how I see myself in the future with the furry fandom and stuff. So, this past year, me and my boyfriend had gone to FWA 2019. It was a lot of fun. When we were first going there, I was actually very scared and very nervous to, like, see everything and just interact with all the furs and stuff. I was really nervous about meeting fursuiters and all that, but I decided to go on through it anyway, and I'm very glad I did, because when we got there and met all the furries and everything, it was so much fun. Alright, sorry about that, guys. It was my dog barking at another one of my dogs. Where was I? Back on FWA. So I was very scared to go and meet all the fursuiters and meet all the furries, because in my entire lifetime the only other furry I've met IRL is my boyfriend, and going from meeting one furry my whole life to meeting like thousands all at once was a very like nerve-wracking experience. And I remember when I got there, I took my tail with me. I kept it in my book bag until we got inside, and then realized, oh, this is completely normal, everyone's got their tails on and stuff. So I started wearing it and starting to have a little bit more fun and enjoying the whole con experience and everything. And let me tell you, it was life-changing. I really, really enjoyed going there. I enjoyed spending time with all the furries, even if I was nervous and not really talking a whole bunch to everyone. Like, my boyfriend even said he wasn't sure if I was having a good time because I wasn't really showing too much emotion. But I had a fantastic time there, meeting all the furries, seeing all the artwork, and by the end of the day I finally racked up enough like some willpower to go and talk to some of the fursuiters and stuff and get pictures with them. I ended up getting pictures with about 6 or 7 fursuiters, and I was very, very happy with that. Overall, really, the whole FWA experience, even though I was only there for one day, for like half the day, I had so much fun just going around meeting other furries and playing games and going to all the events and stuff. I also went to the big fursuit dance competition at FWA, which is like what they're known for, and that was a whole heck of a lot of fun just to actually be there and see all the furries and like just doing their thing, dancing out there, because I'd watched the FWA dance competition for years and years on YouTube, just being like, wow, that's so cool. And I found a really cool liking to it, and to actually be there, be with all those furries and seeing all the suitors dancing in person was such a surreal experience, and it was honestly like amazing for me. It really helped me reconnect with the furries, because before this, I had probably been the least furry I'd ever been. I didn't really have too many furry friends. My own Discord server, I really stopped talking in that much. But after this, and actually being able to hang out with other furries and enjoy my time, I was like, you know what? This is where I'm meant to be. I'm meant to be with furries. I'm meant to be around this type of people and everyone, because really throughout my life I've never really connected too much with any people other than a couple close friends, which I'll get into later. And with furries, you pretty much have instant friends, because they're furries. They like just about everything that you do. I mean, of course we all have some differences, but we have one main thing tying us all together, and that's being a furry and just being able to go out there with each other and have so much fun with people you've never seen or known in your life. It's honestly an amazing experience. But other than that, with furries, I've been hoping to start posting more to my furry channel. I'm hoping to start getting more furry art done of my character and stuff, and overall just looking to get closer to the fandom and get closer to friends and just have people in the fandom to hang out and do stuff with and be able to talk furry stuff with, because for the past year or more, the only person I've been able to really talk anything furry with is my boyfriend. And I mean, there's still so much more out there, so many more furries, so many more people to talk to and discuss to, that I just can't wait to be back in the fandom. And I've been trying to get my foot back in the door more. I'm planning on going to FWA 2020. I wanted to go to, or I was debating going to Anthrocon like a bunch of other of my friends, and some of them are going, but I live in Georgia where FWA is located, so it was much easier for me to go to that than actually to go all the way out to Pennsylvania and fly out there and get a hotel room and do all that stuff. So I'm definitely looking forward to going to FWA next year. But now we're going to get a little bit more into my mind and a little bit of like what's been going on in my life recently and stuff. So over the past, ever since I left really, I had been having like suicidal thoughts and just all kinds of depressive feelings for most of my childhood really. And it had been getting really bad around the time that my parents found my channel and all that happened. And it really kind of messed me up for a little while, and I was just super depressed. I was having suicidal thoughts every day, and I'm sure some of you can relate with this, but having suicidal thoughts every day can really take a toll on you, because it's not something that you don't want to think about. You don't want to be like, I want to die. I mean, of course in the moment it feels right, but really you don't want to go kill yourself, you don't want to do all this stuff, but because of either your mind or the situation you're in, you're just led to believe that that's the best way out, the best way to get rid of everything. But it's really not. That's kind of just like going on. I mean, of course, every situation is different, but with mine, I was able to face my problems with my parents, because of course they knew that I was in a bad state. They knew I had been in one for a long time, and they didn't really know why or what. And a lot of this just boiled down to me and my parents going to a therapy session together, being able to sit down with my like childhood therapist I had had for 3-4 years, and just being able to like talk everything out and explain like why I feel so disconnected from my parents, why I don't really feel the same love for them that they do for me, and ultimately not feeling that love for each other has kind of driven us apart over the years and just made our interactions, I guess, more tense in a way. I could never really feel laid back or chill around my parents ever. And after I went to this therapy session and we started talking everything out, and my parents figured out some things that they had did that they didn't really know had made me so upset for years, some things I had sat on for years that they never even knew really made me that mad. Like a good example, or at least one of the ones I used in my therapy session, was back a long time ago when my dad took me out to go fishing. He tried to get me to take a fish off the hook, and me being a little kid, I was like, no, I don't wanna. I think I was like maybe 11 or 12 at the time, and he basically ended up like forcing me and yelling at me to take the fish off, and I ended up like breaking down in tears. And that's one of those things that had like stuck with me for years. And of course, it's just one of the other examples. My parents have done other things to make me upset and leave scars in my memory and stuff, but this was a good example for the time being. And I was basically explaining like, this really upset me, and my parents more or less thought it was like, oh, we didn't realize that upset you, we thought that was just like a joke or whatever, we thought it was funny. And I mean, after I told my parents that, and they got a second to like realize all this, and then I started telling them some other scenarios where the same exact type of thing had happened, where they had really upset me, and I guess hadn't really realized, because for them, I had always just been a very whiny, very like crying child. Like even when I was like a baby, I would just cry all the time, constantly, and I guess they were just kind of assumed that's like how I was, but it really did like kind of mess me up through the years with how my parents treated me and stuff. But I feel like I'm on the best terms with my parents as of now than I've ever been. We can actually talk, we can go and have conversations with each other without feeling completely tense the whole time. We can enjoy each other's company, at least bond some, and the biggest part is just, it's not as tense anymore. It used to be so very tense every time that we would like have a conversation or anything, because it would be like, who's going to make the first move, what are they going to say, what's going to happen next, and it's just all this crap running through all of our minds. And now we're at the point where we can just kind of sit down and almost talk about whatever and stuff. But one reason why my mom had been so like crazy and stuff, she was basically a helicopter parent, and I'm sure some of you have helicopter parents. I'm sure most of you know what it is. If you don't, it's basically just a parent that watches over you way too closely all the time and never really lets you to experience life and make mistakes for yourself. They're always trying to protect you and keep you from making mistakes, which ultimately leads to like a sheltered life, and a kid who doesn't really know much about the world and how to deal with problems and stuff themselves, because their parents have always done it for them. And this is a big issue with my mom. She'd always been so afraid to let me go and let me go do my own thing, that she had just basically sheltered me, and that was part of the computer thing. She was just trying to shelter me from my PC, shelter me from the world, shelter me from like everyone out there. She didn't want me to get hurt. She wanted me to be okay, and it took me a while to realize that that's actually what all of her actions were doing, that she wasn't just doing it to piss me off, to make me mad all the time, that she was actually doing it to try to like keep me away and safe from the world and not have all these issues and problems. But ultimately it just made me not be able to deal with issues or problems because she had kept me sheltered for so long. But after we finally got all this talked out with each other, we kind of understood each other's point of views and were able to start repairing our relationship. Of course, for like the first few weeks it was kind of awkward because we both had that thought in the back of our mind, like, don't upset the other or whatever and stuff. But ultimately it came down to just talking and just interacting more with my parents, because nowadays it's not tense at all. I can go and chill with my parents or whatever for a little while and have fun, when back in the day, if I was in the same room as my parents, I didn't feel right. It felt like I was in a weird place. I didn't really like being there, like being around them. But now I can actually enjoy my time around my parents, unlike how it used to be, which honestly is one of the biggest factors leading to me like not being completely depressed all the time. Is just the fact that I can actually talk to my parents. I can actually enjoy my time around my parents. I don't have to feel scared 24/7 just because my parents are present, which was one of the bigger problems, that I didn't feel comfortable in my own home. I never felt comfortable in my own home because of this. But after I was finally able to talk to them and discuss with them all this stuff, and the fact that they were so understanding really, really helps, because they didn't want me to be sad, they didn't want me to be upset, they just wanted me to be happy. And when we were talking to my therapist, and my therapist was like, so do both parties here, do you want to continue your relationship with the other? And of course we both said yes. My mom and my parents said yes. So of course we wanted to have a stronger relationship. We wanted to actually be able to engage with each other and talk and discuss stuff, but we just haven't been able to for so long that it was kind of hard to find a place to start and making up with each other and being able to say, I'm sorry for the things I did, or they were sorry for all the things that they had done, and that started to help heal the wound. And finally being able to just talk and enjoy my time with my parents made it pretty much just kind of go away. I mean, of course, I've still got the things in my childhood that really upset me, certain things that they did, but I know that my parents are forgiving, or not really forgiving, like, I don't know the word for it. They're sad for what they had done. They're not happy with their actions, and they want to be better people. And I mean, it was a very good thing for me to hear that they actually did care. They actually wanted to be happy with me and be able to enjoy our lives together, which is something that I had always kind of been like, they don't really care about me, they don't want me here and all this stuff. But it's just, for so long it had just been the depression talking, because I had been so depressed. As I said, was having like suicidal thoughts every day, and as I said, that really starts to take a toll on you after a while. You start to kind of just lose your mind and stuff. Not even to mention, through all of this, I've had a drug issue the whole time, just while I was at college and stuff. I was basically just smoking every day at college, and it wasn't helping the situation at all. I was just sitting on stuff more. I was out of my mind half the time and wasn't able to actually properly think about my real life issues and things that were going on. So I would just sit there and just some nights just break into tears, have suicidal thoughts all the time, and it really wasn't a good life. I wasn't happy, but now that I'm finished my first 2 years of college and got my degree, I'm going to go back for my next 2 years, but I'm taking a semester off, so I'll hopefully be able to make some more Duff Black videos here coming soon. But for like, I don't know, man, it's been a crazy ride over the past few years between college and coming home and talking to my parents and just being able to bond with my family. Really has been a big part, because we had gone on a vacation to Hawaii not too long ago. Yes, my family is a little bit above the middle income bracket. We're making enough money, we're well off, so we were able to go on a trip to Hawaii. And while we were there, I mean, Hawaii is really cool. It's mainly just for sightseeing, if you want to see a lot of cool nature and stuff. I mean, there are some things to do. We did a helicopter ride and stuff, but for the most part it's just a lot of sightseeing. But during all this, I was able to bond with my mom specifically and my sister a lot. And also, now that I have a Minecraft server and me and my sister are able to engage more, we're like on better terms. We were never really on bad terms per se. It was just that we didn't talk a whole bunch throughout my teen years and her younger teen years. And now we're starting to form a closer bond. We start talking to each other and we have a good old time. Alright, so that's pretty much it with my parents right now. As I said, I'm feeling a lot better with the position I am in with my parents. I feel so much happier after being able to discuss with them and tell them everything that has upset me for all these years. And I mean, there were some misconceptions and stuff, but overall I'm a lot happier with my parents. I'm a lot happier in the situation I'm in. I'm happy with the direction my life is heading in at the moment. I mean, of course there's so many things that I can't really tell. I don't really know what's going to happen, but at the moment I'm happy with the direction I'm going and what I see in the future for myself. Take a drink real quick. Alright, so let's see, what do I want to talk about here real quick? I got a few things written down. You know what? I think I'll just go ahead and continue on my drug addiction thing for the end of this episode. So, another one of my problems, back around high school, right when I was getting out of high school, the summer I got out, summer I graduated, we found CBD, which is legal in my state, and the brand of CBD we found was Diamond. It could be put into a vape and smoked that way. Like, you could just mix it in with your normal vape juice and smoke it, and it'd get you a little bit high for like 45 minutes or so. But the one thing we didn't realize going into CBD is how quick your tolerance builds up to it, and that your tolerance kind of lasts a lifetime with it. So when we first started, we were doing it pretty much every day, just kind of having fun and stuff. and we were using CBD over and over and over until the point that it really didn't do anything for me or my friends anymore. So that was probably, that whole timeline for CBD was about a year, and this is how my addiction kind of started, was because of CBD. And from there I had expanded into dabs, which are little dab pins. You can just screw onto your vape and take wherever and smoke them and whatever, and they would get you really, really, really high really quick. And so of course, after CBD stopped working for me and my friends as much, and it was pretty much the same price for a bottle of CBD as it is a dab, which will last you just about the same amount of time, of course we all switched over to dabs. I mean, despite it being illegal in our state, of course that's what we all went to, because we all wanted just to get high. And being teenage or old, like, we were all like 19, 18 at this point. So of course we all started picking them up. We started smoking all the time, smoking every day, and it kind of just became a habit. We would all smoke, get high together as friends, and just enjoy our time. But the thing that we didn't all notice or realize at the time was that this stuff can basically make you go insane after a while. Like, if you're smoking dabs, which is pure THC, if you don't know what THC is, it's what's in weed that actually gets you high. We were doing that like pretty much over and over and over every day, just, and our tolerance was building up, so we would have to hit more and buy more. So we'd have to, instead of taking one hit, we'd have to take 4 hits, and then instead of 4 hits, we'd have to take 6, 7 hits to get to the same level. And then eventually it got to the point after about a year that we all started smoking, and it basically was like, we're not feeling anything anymore, because, I mean, of course you're feeling a little bit of something because it's THC, but it's just nowhere near the level that any of us wanted to be at. And it just kind of got into this point where, instead of actually doing it as a pastime and doing it for fun, we had to have it like all the time. And I have multiple friends who just, they're just not fun to be around unless they are high, because they're just so grumpy and such assholes when they're lit, or when they're not lit, that it's not even worth it to be around them unless they are high. But the problem is also when they are high, they make wrong decisions all the time. I mean, just think about it. When you're gone off your mind, you're not going to make the right decision. Even after you've been smoking for a year or so, you may have some confidence in yourself to make right decisions, but ultimately when it comes down to it, unless it's not like small decisions, like, oh, what I'm going to eat today or whatever, you're probably not making the right, clear-minded choice. Like, I've had friendships ruined over the shit. I mean, basically that's what it was. I've had friendships just ruined over it. I had 2 of my closest friends who, we were like a little trifecta group who would just always hang out and always enjoy our time together. And I mean, we had so much fun for so long, and we finally got to the point to where them 2 were both smoking all the time. They were going through about a dab pen in a week, which is a gram of pure THC, which is crazy to go through that much in a week. And include this with like actual life problems and shit going on in your own mind, and you're just getting lit to like distance yourself from it, basically. Like, say you break up with a girl and you're super lit and this like really hurts you, and it just it can fuck with your mind really hard, especially when you're this lit every day. And it messed up some of my friends, it messed up some of their trust issues, and it fucked up their head, and ultimately it led to friendships being destroyed over nothing, basically, and people just moving on with their lives, which really sucks, because I mean, I had some really good friends, I had a really nice close-knit friend group, and it just all disappeared because of this drug. Not because of the people, but because of the drug. Because I know these people, I know they can make clear, conscious decisions, but when you're lit like this all the time for hours, days, weeks on end, you can't make clear choices. It's just not possible, no matter like who you are. If you think that you can go and smoke weed every day and make clear, conscious choices, big life decisions, you're wrong. You're just plain out wrong. Because as much as I do enjoy it and I do like it, it, it just fucks with you. It fucks with you, your life. It makes you lazy. It makes you a piece of shit. You're not you when you're on it, even though you think you are, and you feel like you are, and you feel right there. And then the problem is once things actually do go wrong in your life and there are things messing up, you just want to get high to avoid it. And I had so many friends who just did this. They just avoided their issues and got high all the time, and just basically were like, they would get lit and have fun while they're lit, so they were like, okay, my life is fine for now. But then it's really not. When they wake up in the morning and think about all this shit that's going wrong in their life, it just makes them break down. And it's so sad to see so many of my friends and people I know have smoked so much weed to the fact that it's basically just ruined portions of their life. Like, this isn't a drug that like kills you or anything. It's a drug that messes up like sections of your life, whether it be your work, whether it be your friends, your family, or whatever. It can really screw up stuff in your life. Like, for me specifically, it nearly killed me because I was pretty much smoking all the time. I was super anxious all the time because I was smoking all the time. And it made me get to the point where I didn't want to go to the cafeteria at my school to eat because I felt nervous to go in front of people. I felt nervous going to class. I felt nervous all the time. And with someone with stomach issues, being nervous all the time just means I have more stomach issues. And then I was nervous about that. And it basically just anxiety and all this shit started just running through my head all the time. And it was absolutely miserable because I couldn't even make clear decisions because I was high all the time. Where if I wasn't, I could actually try to do something with my shit and try to fix my shit, but I couldn't because, I mean, I was just so out of my mind. And I was lucky enough to realize that it isn't okay to be lit all the time, every day. Although sadly, I still have plenty of friends who think it's perfectly okay and think it's good for them, or think that there's no problem with it, there's no issue. And it really just kind of sucks to sit there and watch some of my friends just like throw their lives away in a way. I mean, you can function, you can do stuff when you're lit. You're just not going to be able to do as much or as efficiently and think as clear as you would be able to not on it. And that's mainly the big issue, is that people just don't think right on it. And as much fun as it is, and as much fun as it is to just like sit back and chill and enjoy, it's really not worth it. I mean, if you're going to smoke, if you enjoy smoking, don't smoke every day. If you do, you need to set limits for yourself, like really harsh limits, like 1 hit a day, 1 joint a day or something. You can't go out and smoke all night just to like either push your troubles away or just want to get really high, because if you do start smoking every day, your tolerance is going to build up, you're going to spend more on the shit, and it's a downhill spiral. It will start to take a toll on your life if you start using it too much. And I've seen it happen way too many times to way too many people, and I don't want to see it happen again, to be honest. It really sucks to see my friends and people like that just go to shit because they have been high for so long and think that they're making right choices in their life when really they're not. And you can't explain it to someone who's high all the time because they're basically convinced that they're right. And I mean, as much as it sucks, I've had friendships fall apart, and I've just sat there and there's pretty much nothing I could do to be able to help these friendships and repair them, because everyone was so high and in their own minds that they were just building up like almost like a false narrative to believe they're right and shit. Honestly, it really sucked to lose so many people that I was close to because of this drug. And if I could go back and stop my friends from ever like smoking or whatever, I definitely would. And if I could stop myself from ever doing it, I definitely would. I mean, it's not particularly bad for you or anything, but it's just not something that's fun or enjoyable every day. I mean, you may sit there and be like, oh, it's so much fun, I'm so lit, and then the next day, oh, I'm gonna get lit again, I'm gonna have so much fun again. But by the end of it, you're just like, where's this past couple of years gone? What has happened to me? Who am I? And it really, it just starts to fuck with you after a long enough time, and there's just nothing you can do about it unless you can get yourself out of that hole. And sadly, for a lot of people, they can't get themselves out of that hole because most people don't have that amount of willpower inside of them to be able to stop. I've been lucky enough to be able to realize some of the things that I was doing wrong and some of the things that were fucking up other people, and be able to make those corrections in my own life because I was able to watch them firsthand, like all this shit happened to them, when instead they had to learn it the hard way themselves and feel all this pain themselves, which it really sucks. And as I said, I would go back and give anything to go and help all my friends and people that I know who have basically smoked themselves into the ground. I mean, basically what I'm saying here is I've been smoking for 2 years. I smoked CBD for a straight year. Hold up. There we go. I smoked CBD for a straight year. I smoked THC for a straight year. I've watched friendships die because of it. I've watched people go insane because of it. I've watched myself almost go insane because of it. And as I said, luckily enough, I was able to stop myself from getting any worse, and God knows it definitely could have. But overall, really, like, if you haven't smoked, I don't recommend it unless you know 100% that you have the self-control in yourself to be able to stop, because there's so many people out there who don't have the self-control to stop. I mean, it's not inherently addictive like something like cigarettes are with their nicotine. There's nothing actually addictive about it. It's just the fact, like, oh, I could get high right now, I could enjoy my time a lot more right now, I could just be gone for hours and have so much fun. And then the next day it's the same thing. You're like, oh, now I can get lit and have fun again. And then it's just a repeating process. And as much as people want to convince themselves and want to believe that it doesn't mess with your mind, I know it does. It can make you go insane, especially if you're using a high concentrate every day from the second you wake up to the second you go to bed. It's not okay. You can't do it and be sane. Well, I mean, as of now, that's pretty much everything I have to cover. I mean, my addiction drove me into the ground. It put me in the hospital pretty much for a while. It's hasn't hurt me as much as hurt my friends so much more, because they've lost their money, they've lost friends, they've lost people they've not really loved, but they just lost people in their lives because of this. And just, I don't want that to happen to me, and I don't want that to happen to anyone else, because it honestly sucks. It really does suck. And I just hope that any of you guys out there who are thinking about maybe smoking, or are smoking, or maybe are in the same position as me who are smoking every day, it is possible to get out. It is possible to stop, but you have to make it yourself. No one can make you stop other than yourself. You can have someone preach to you all day, but unless you have the self-control or the willpower to go and actually put down that blunt or put down that dab pen, you're not going to be able to. And it will make you go crazy after time. I've watched it happen way too many times. I think that's all I have for today, guys. Thank all of you for staying here and listening to me just babble on about my life problems and stuff. I'm sorry that I haven't been posting as much as I had been in the past. I've just been having stuff been going on in my life, and been focusing on other issues and other things that I've been just trying to get cleared out of the way. And I'm finally in a place where I feel like I'm able to talk about these things instead of just being confused the whole time. But either way, thanks you guys for watching, and I'll talk to you guys next time. Duff Black, out.